Evening guys, hi, hope everyone's keeping well. We're back for another video. So yeah, this is a response video to John at the Digital Gramophone that put together a tag a couple of weeks or so ago titled The Sad Bastard Vinyl Tag. Okay, so yeah, and I guess some of you have seen some of the responses to this already, including John's original video. But basically, he set 13 questions, and the topic is kind of music, lyrics, albums, artists that are sad or, you know, have a melancholy feel or sad in nature. So yeah, I think some of these questions from what I've seen of the one or two videos that I have watched have been sort of some of the questions have been interpreted perhaps slightly differently to how John did them. So yeah, there may be a few here that are that kind of, you know, I may put a bit of a twist on, may, you know, have a little bit of a different meaning to maybe how John intended them to be initially. So, but yeah, I'm going to run through them. And yeah, I was tagged by James Griffiths. Thank you, James, to do this video. So yeah, I've got the records anyway. So, and I'm gonna run through it now. So, okay, so the first question is an overplayed sad song. So yeah, I'm going for Without You, which is from Nilsson Schmilsson. Harry Nilsson covered this. So this was originally a song that was written by Pete Ham and Tom Evans of Badfinger several years earlier. And yeah, the kind of the irony of I guess of the sort of fatalistic lyrics of that particular song is that they both Pete Ham and Tom Evans sadly actually committed suicide. I think Pete Ham in 1975 and Tom Evans later in 1983. Which just makes the whole song, and when you hear it and when you're aware of that, just like unbelievably poignant. So, but yeah, it is terribly overplayed. I mean, let's be honest, it does get an awful lot of airtime, and I know several other people have you know covered it since as well. But yeah, I mean, great song, but yeah, I'm not too fussed if I don't hear it. If I don't hear it again for quite a while. So yeah, that's the first question. Okay, so question 2. You're listening to an album and somebody walks in and says, "What is this sad bastard shit?" Okay. Okay, so this is Nick Drake. I've had several people in the past comment that they think that that you know they've heard Nick Drake on the radio, or they've heard a CD play, they've heard me playing it, and it just comes across as very melancholic. They find it depressing, dark in some cases. I think one person in particular described it as. I mean, for me, it's I don't find Nick Drake depressing at all. I think there's certainly melancholy and sadness in the songs, but I think some of his music, particularly on this second album, Brighter Later, I find quite a lot of joy and sort of happiness, particularly you know some of the instrumentals, you know. One of these things first, I find really upbeat. Hazy Jane 2 really upbeat, with that kind of jazzy kind of feel. So yeah, it's not, it's never all doom and gloom with Nick Drake. Obviously, his last album, Pink Moon, is a very different kettle of fish. So I can, understand people making those kind of comments when they hear that. But yeah, so that's Nick Drake. Okay, question 3: a sad album to many, but a dance party to you. I pretty much thought of this one straight away. So yeah, this is Matt Johnson's Other and Soul Mining debut album from 1983. I've never found this dark or depressing. For me, it's always been like a dance party, particularly the first side, with tracks like This Is the Day, Uncertain Smile. Yes, the lyrics are dark. Sort of, there's quite a lot of self-loathing and so on. And obviously, it was written at a time when sort of Britain wasn't in a great place economically, politically, etc. And sort of Matt Johnson was very sort of quick to give a sort of narrative on the on that in his lyrics. But yeah, I mean the production, it's very bright, upbeat. Yeah, and compared to something like Radiohead, which I just almost can't listen to at all these days, or say Pink Floyd The Wall, I don't find this depressing in the slightest. Okay, so we have question 4. It's a love song, but it's sad. It's not immediately, I guess, a love song, but I thought of Vincent, Don McLean, because it's certainly sad and very emotive. But I just think it is. It's a love song. It's a guy who's got an unbelievable appreciation and sensitivity, empathy towards Vincent van Gogh as an artist, and just some incredible lyricism in the song. And it is painful. But there's a kind of incredible beauty in the lyric and the tune and melody, the way that Don McLean sings it. Yeah, it certainly had me, a bit damp-eyed on more than one occasion. So, yeah. Okay, let's see. A favorite sad lyric. Okay, I'd be very remiss of me if I was to do one of these videos without showing something by one of my favorite artists, Roy Harper. So this is the last track on his wonderful 71 album Stormcock, which is Me and My Woman. Yeah, and this is just an epic track, sort of 13-minute song, one of Roy's several lengthy opuses that he kind of has done in his long career. But yeah, I mean this lyric, Me and My Woman, on one hand it's about a man and a woman struggling in a kind of turbulent world, trying to get to grips with kind of commercialism and everything, and but also kind of kicking against the war politics and impending destruction, all this kind of encompassed in this particular song. And it's sort of fatalistic, but it's just beautiful, wonderfully put together if you haven't heard it. So, but the verse that I love on this is when he sings, "What a lovely day, What a day to play at living, but what a mess we make, and what a trust we break, not giving our wings to our children. Oh, how we fail them, oh, how we nail them. Sunset, she's my colour, and king is my name. Darkness, she's my lover, and we live in shame. Sublime. Okay. So we have Tears in Your Beer, a sad country song. I have very, very little country music at all in my collection. But I picked this. It's not really a country song. It's more a kind of sort of, well, he's a Canadian artist, more kind of folk, I guess, renowned for folk and so on. So this is Gordon Lightfoot, If You Could Read My Mind. Yeah, I'm going for the title track on this because it's just beautiful, very, very sad, poignant, with the production. When he sings, it's like writing a paperback novel, like a favorite lyric from a storybook, and he's using all this kind of symbolism of kind of legends and sort of up in a castle, the maiden up in a castle and so on, and there's all this kind of imagery in it, and he's saying, you won't read that book again because the ending's just too hard to take, and yeah, pretty heartbreaking stuff from Gordon. Okay, then we have I think I've gone out of sync here. Okay, yeah, sorry. Your favorite song by the Smiths. Okay, I mean, obviously, I guess John picked the Smiths because they're traditionally known for fairly miserable subject matter, which, yes, they are. But my favorite, actually, I find it quite upbeat. So it's off The Queen Is Dead, and it's the last track on side one, which is Cemetery Gates. And the music to that is fantastic, particularly because during lockdown, Johnny Marr was doing like a sort of phoning almost, like for favourite songs, and somebody asked for Cemetery Gates, and he just played it on the acoustic guitar, and it's a fantastic piece of music, and it's really uplifting, with some great chord changes, and as a guitar player, I just really, really appreciate it. So yeah, that's my favourite Smith song anyway, Cemetery Gates. Okay, a breakup album and song. Again, I've gone out of order here, guys, but never mind. Okay, so I'm going for Lexicon of Love ABC. And it's really, I see it almost, because there is quite a lot of lyricism in this about sort of breakups and so on. And I think actually the girl that is actually singing on Poison Arrow, and she says, "I can't love you, I can never love you," is actually a girl that Martin Fry actually went out with. I think when he was at uni, and it just it didn't work out. And he was clearly heartbroken about it. But yeah, I mean, I almost see it as kind of almost unrequited love, really, because quite a lot of the lyrics it's like he's chasing after it. He's chasing after the girl. He's chasing after this love that just somehow just seems kind of unattainable. Maybe something I think that we've had that, you have crushes on somebody, so maybe you go after them, they're not the person that really you should be going after, but you put so much energy into it, it becomes almost like an obsession. So yeah, I think there's some of that going on here as well. And but yeah, great record. Okay, your favorite sad soundtrack? Well, James Griffith showed Midnight Cowboy, even though he didn't actually show the soundtrack. So I probably would have gone for that, but I've actually gone for this, which in some ways is remarkably similar musically. So this is Bartleby. So this is the original soundtrack recording by Roger Webb. So Roger Webb did a lot of sort of TV work and soundtracks and so on in this sort of 60s and 70s. I'm not sure when this came out. I think it was it about 1970, was it? I think something like that. I think it was like a TV series. I've never seen it, but by all accounts, it's about a guy who goes to work at a company, and he's in the office, and he just refuses to do any work, basically, and he kind of slowly kind of sinks into kind of mental illness. So yeah, there's a happy subject for you straight away. But yeah, the music is just beautiful. It's really haunting, very sad. You've got the kind of, it starts with this kind of harmonica motif, again similar to the John Barry music that James was describing for Midnight Cowboy. It's got that same kind of feel to it, just kind of just aching, sort of loss, loneliness, you know, all those kind of feelings, and yeah, a very downbeat soundtrack, but wonderful and quite beautiful. Okay, I'm only happy when it rains. Okay, I'm actually going for the song Rainmaker, which is from the New Seekers. This is their album, Look What They've Done to My Songma, I think, which came out in 72. This is an album I've had since I was a kid. It's not even a guilty pleasure. I really like this record. It's wonderfully produced. The harmonies are fantastic. Songs are great. But the song in particular, Rainmaker, was a cover of the Nilsson song. And so it's got this kind of character, this Rainmaker, who goes to a Kansas town, and it's in the middle of summer, there's a drought, and he kind of, they ask the Rainmaker to make rain because it's just heat, it's just so hot. And they can't stand it. It's probably, it's affecting the crops probably, and people's health, because they're kind of maybe dying because of the heat wave. And so he conjures up a rain. Rain comes down. There's a storm, and then he passes around a hat for money, and the townsfolk decide that they don't want to pay him. So he leaves, and it just rains forever and a day, I guess. So instant karma, I guess, from that one. But yeah, so that's why I'm only happy when it rains, when I hear the Rainmaker. Okay, the sappiest, corniest, happiest bullshit song you've ever heard. Okay, I'm going to go for Simon Smith and the Amazing Dancing Bear, which Nilsson covered as well. I think quite a lot of artists of that period covered it. So yeah, it's kind of it's one of these songs. I think particularly how Alan Price did it. He did it as a kind of winking entertainer, very upbeat, ebullient kind of song, quite corny, very corny, in fact, I guess you could say. But certainly not a bullshit song, I guess. And certainly different to how Randy Newman recorded it later. It was obviously, he wrote the song originally. But how he did it, it's apparently about, it's a song about prejudice. So he plays it in a kind of slightly more dour, downbeat way, which is kind of at odds, certainly, to the way that Alan Price performed it. So, but yeah, you wouldn't necessarily get that from listening to Alan Price's version, but yeah, certainly when Randy performs it, it is that little bit more poignant. So that's it, guys. Okay, so I think I've answered all those. If I missed one or two out, never mind. Yeah, so thanks to James for tagging me on that one. Yeah, and thanks to John for checking them out. Go and check their channels out. If you're not a subscriber already, both great channels. So yeah, and obviously John was mentioning that he was doing it for a sort of mental health charity for musicians, which is quite poignant for me as well. I did mention this on the response to his video, because my brother works for a mental health charity here in the UK, where he's sort of helping a lot of people with sort of ADHD and so on, and obviously sort of people who are sort of manically depressed, but they're also musicians, and he helps them with their kind of songwriting and so on. So yeah, quite poignant for me, and sort of hit home, you know, as well. So yeah, go out and check out the video on John's channel, and donate if you wish. I know he's put a link to that for people to do that. So go ahead if you wish. That would be great, and I'm sure he'd appreciate that. So yeah, so that just leaves me to do a nomination. So I'm going to nominate Dale Gatefold33. So guys, thank you very much indeed. Anybody who's stumbled across this video and commented, that'd be great, and much appreciated. All the best, and yeah, I'll be back soon, hopefully with another video. Take care, all the best, guys. Bye bye.